ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Beloved Sangat, the modern world often presents us with a relentless cacophony, a discordant array of sounds, sights and thoughts that pulls us away from our center. This cacophony isn't merely the physical noise of bustling cities or the constant hum of technology, but also the mental clatter of the incessant worries, desires, and distractions. It's the unceasing chatter of the mind, always busy, always seeking, and rarely at rest. This external and internal noise creates a barrier between us and the profound peace that lies at the core of our being. Liken the mind to a clear pond, where true reflection and stillness can only be seen when the surface is undisturbed. In the modern world, however, the surface of our minds is constantly rippled by the bombardment of sensory inputs and the ceaseless activity of our thoughts. The path to peace involves quieting this cacophony. It requires us to step back from the relentless pursuit of external validation and material success, and instead turn inward. By embracing practices that foster stillness, such as meditation, mindful awareness, and living in the present moment, we can begin to let the noise settle. In doing so, we start to hear the deeper, more harmonious notes of existence, notes that resonate with the essence of who we truly are. Peace isn't something to be found inside, in the chaos of the world, but within, in the silent, serene center of our being. It's here, away from the cacophony, that we reconnect with the universal rhyme of the One, experiencing the profound peace that is our true nature. And so begins the journey to discover the harmonious melody for the seeker of peace. At the heart of this spiritual symphony lies the practice of Naam Simran, meditating upon and repeating the divine name. Imagine, if you will, the profound stillness that emerges when the mind, often a turbulent sea of thoughts and desires, finds itself anchored in the sacred repetition of the divine name. This isn't merely a ritualistic chant, but a transformative journey inward. As the waves of ego and illusion subside, one touches the profound depths of serenity. Naam Simran is the art of tuning one's inner frequency to the resonance of the universe, where the self dissolves into the infinite. It's here, in this boundless expanse, that true peace resides. Scripture echoes this timeless truth, whispering to us that in meditating the divine name, we discover a tranquility that transcends the ordinary, a peace that is both infinite and eternal. Peace isn't found in the external world, but in the still, silent center of our being. Through Naam Simran, the practice of meditating on and repeating divine name, you'll calm the mind, reduce ego, and bring inner peace. The Guru Granth Sahib emphasizes this repeatedly. Meditate on God's name and you will find peace. Guru Granth Sahib, Ang 289. And so continues the journey. The path to peace requires us to live a life of truth, sat, and righteousness, dharma. Lead an honest life, free from deceit and falsehood. It's essential for inner peace. Truth is high, but higher still is truthful living. Guru Granth Sahib, Ang 62. It's a call to align ourselves with the essence of truth, sat, and righteousness, dharma. For it's within this alignment that we discover the serenity of the soul. To live truthfully isn't merely to speak the truth, but to embody it in every aspect of our existence. It's an invitation to strip away the layers of deceit and falsehood that cloud our vision and obscure our true nature. Imagine, if you will, that living truthfully is like polishing a mirror. Each act of honesty, each moment of integrity removes the grime of illusion, allowing the mirror to reflect the light of true self. It's this clarity and purity that brings forth inner peace. As the revered scriptures say, truth is high, but higher still is truthful living. Beloved, this isn't just a moral directive, it's a profound spiritual insight. When we commit to living truthfully, we embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. We begin to see the interconnectedness of all things and understand that our actions ripple out into the world, affecting the whole. In this state of heightened awareness, we realize that falsehood and deceit create dissonance, not only within ourselves, but also in the fabric of the universe. Living truthfully demands courage and vulnerability, beloved. It requires us to confront our fears, our desires, and our ego-driven tendencies. Yet, in this confrontation, we find liberation. We shed the heavy burdens of pretense and step into the lightness of being authentic. This authenticity cultivates a deep sense of peace, for we're no longer at war with ourselves or the world around us. Living truthfully invites us to practice righteousness, not as a rigid adherence to rules, but as a harmonious expression of our highest values. It's about making choices that reflect our inner truth and contribute to the well-being of all. And in doing so, we create a life that isn't only peaceful, but also profoundly meaningful. Truth isn't an external standard imposed upon us, but a living, dynamic force within us. It's the pulse of the cosmos, the rhythm of our very being. When we live in accordance with this truth, we align ourselves with the fundamental order of the universe. We move with the flow of life rather than against it. And in this effortless movement, we find the peace that surpasses all understanding. Thus, to live truthfully is to embrace the highest expression of our humanity. It's to walk a path of integrity, authenticity, and righteousness, knowing that in doing so, we're not only finding peace within ourselves, but also contributing to the harmony of the entire creation. And in this continued quest for peace, the tapestry of this life holds a luminous thread known as selfless service, seva. This concept, often overlooked in the hustle and bustle of modern life, holds the key to a deeper, more profound peace. Selfless service, seva, isn't just a noble act. It's a transformative practice that dissolves the boundaries of the self and merges us with the greater whole. It's in giving without seeking reward, in serving without expectation, that we touch the essence of our true nature. Imagine for a moment that life is an intricate dance, and each act of selfless service is a step that brings us into harmony with the universe. By serving others, we begin to transcend the confines of our ego, that incessant chatter of I, me, and mine. In the silent offering of ourselves to others, we find a profound sense of community and belonging, a reminder that we're all interconnected parts of a vast living organism. Seva is the art of losing oneself to find oneself. And when we engage in acts of selfless service, we step out of our narrow personal concerns and open our hearts to the needs of others. This shift in focus creates a ripple effect, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. And it's in this collective engagement that we discover a deeper peace, one that is not fleeting or conditional, but eternal and unshakable. As the sacred texts reveal, through selfless service, eternal peace is obtained. But what does it mean to serve selflessly? Beloved, it means to act without attachment to the outcome, to give without expecting anything in return. This pure form of service is a direct challenge to the ego, which constantly seeks validation and reward. By practicing seva, we learn to let go of these ego-driven desires and embrace a life of genuine compassion and altruism. The act of serving others isn't a sacrifice, but a joyful expression of our true nature. And when we serve, we tap into the boundless reservoir of love and compassion that resides within us. This isn't an internal imposition, but an inner flowering, a natural outpouring of our interconnectedness with all beings. In serving others, we serve ourselves, for the lines that separate us are merely illusions. Selfless service is a powerful antidote to the pervasive sense of isolation and alienation that plagues modern society. By engaging in seva, we break down the walls that divide us and create a sense of solidarity and mutual support. Beloved, this fosters a community where everyone feels valued and cared for, enhancing the collective well-being and peace. In essence, selfless service, seva, is a path to discovering the true meaning of life. It's a journey from the head to the heart, from separation to unity, from chaos to peace. By dedicating ourselves to the well-being of others, we align with the fundamental rhythms of the universe and experience the profound peace that comes from living in harmony with all that is. Beloved Sangha, embrace this path, not as a duty, but as a joyous adventure, a dance of the soul that brings us closer to the eternal truth of our interconnected existence. And so the quest for peace continues. And in this rich tapestry of human existence, the threads of community and equality weave a pattern of profound significance. You see, there's a timeless wisdom in the belief that true peace and fulfillment are found not in isolation, but in the embrace of a shared collective life. This is the essence of Sangat and Pangat, the practices of congregational worship and communal meals, which serve as a cornerstone of a harmonious society. Imagine, if you will, life as a grand symphony where each individual note, while beautiful on its own, reaches its fullest expression only when it resonates in harmony with others. In this sacred space of Sangat, the congregation, we come together as equals, shedding the illusions of division and hierarchy. Here, in the presence of others, we dissolve the barriers of ego and experience the unity of all beings. It's in this collective worship that we touch the divine, the treasure of peace that lies within and beyond us. By joining the Sangat, we step into a sacred circle where each person's presence enhances the whole. This shared spiritual experience isn't merely a ritual, but a profound affirmation of our interconnectedness. As the Guru Granth Sahib, Ang 95 reveals, join the Sangat and find the Lord, the treasure of peace. Pangat. The practice of communal meals takes us a step further. Here we sit side by side, breaking bread together, regardless of status, wealth, or background. It's a powerful reminder that in the eyes of the cosmos, we are all one and the same. Sharing a meal in such equality is an act of deep humility and profound respect for the intrinsic worth of every individual. This simple act fosters a sense of belonging and mutual care, dissolving the artificial boundaries that so often separate us. Sangat and Pangat are opportunities to practice the art of living harmoniously, recognizing that the well-being of each is tied to the well-being of all. And in the act of coming together, we experience a microcosm of the universal truth that we're all interconnected threads in the vast web of life. Through Sangat and Pangat, we learn that peace isn't an individual pursuit, but a collective creation. And it's in these shared moments of worship and communal sharing of meals that we find a deeper, more abiding peace. These practices remind us that true equality isn't just a lofty ideal, but a lived reality, where each person's dignity is upheld and their humanity celebrated. In embracing these principles, we align ourselves with the natural order of the universe, where everything is interconnected and interdependent. Through these communal practices, we find the treasure of peace, not as isolated individuals, but as a united community, living in harmony with each other and the world. And so the journey to peace continues, and we find ourselves at surrender with humility, with the acceptance of God's will. Hukam, beloved Sangat. When we attune ourselves to Hukam, we align with the natural order of the universe, a concept deeply resonant with the Taoist ideal of Wu Wei, or effortless action. In the words of the Guru Granth Sahib, one who understands God's will, Hukam, finds peace. Ang 421. This understanding isn't mere intellectual assent, but a deep lived experience of surrender and trust. It's the resistance to the flow of life that's the root of much of our suffering. In contrast, we yield to Hukam. We find ourselves moving with the current rather than against it. This yielding, beloved, isn't passivity. It's an active, dynamic engagement in reality as it is. Imagine a river, ever flowing, indifferent to the obstacles in its path. It doesn't resist the rocks and bends it encounters. It simply flows, finding its way naturally around them. Similarly, accepting Hukam means recognizing that our struggles and triumphs, our joys and sorrows are all part of a larger harmonious whole. This acceptance brings a profound peace as we cease to fight against the inevitable, instead learn to move with the rhythm of the universe. I would urge us all to see that everything in life is transient, and clinging to any state, be it pleasure or pain, is to deny this fundamental truth. Beloved, by embracing Hukam, we cultivate a serene detachment, an ability to engage fully with life while maintaining an inner tranquility, knowing that all things come and go. Thus, the acceptance of Hukam isn't a resignation to fate, but a harmonious dance with the cosmos. It's a reminder that peace comes not from controlling our circumstances, but from understanding and flowing with them. As we internalize this wisdom, we find that the serenity we seek is not found in the external world, but within, in our acceptance of the divine will that permeates all of existence. And so, beloved, we arrive at the thread of contentment, santokh. Santokh, gratitude for what one has. It serves as a compass guiding us away from the turbulent seas of greed and desire. Contentment is the highest virtue. Through it, one finds peace. Guru Granth Sahib, Ang 1299. Such wisdom illuminates a path to a tranquil state of mind, suggesting that inner peace is less about the external accumulation and more about the internal realization. Beloved, imagine, if you will, the relentless pursuit of more wealth, more power, more status. This chase is akin to trying to fill a sieve with water. No matter how much you pour in, it's never enough. Step back and consider the futility of this endless striving. Instead of seeking contentment in the future, I would encourage us to discover it in the present moment, in the appreciation of what is, rather than what could be. You see, beloved, it's the illusion of separation, the false belief that we're isolated entities striving against the world. In truth, we're integral parts of a grand tapestry, interconnected and interdependent. Contentment arises from recognizing this interconnectedness and embracing our place within it, beloved. It's the understanding that we're already complete, and that peace comes not from acquisition, but from acceptance. Sangat, this principle of santokh extends beyond personal tranquility and into the fabric of community and service. When we're content, we're more likely to act with compassion and generosity, fostering harmony in our surroundings. Scripture urges us to pursue a life of devotion, truth, service, and community. Each of these elements interweaves with contentment, creating a holistic approach to living that nurtures both individual and collective well-being. To live in santokh is to live in alignment with the natural flow of life, much like a tree that stands firm yet bends with the wind. It's to understand that true fulfillment is not found in the pursuit of external desires, but in the serene acceptance of the present. It's a state of being where one finds joy in the simple act of existence, appreciating each moment as it comes. Beloved, contentment isn't about passive resignation, but an active engagement with life. It's about finding joy and meaning in our daily activities, no matter how mundane they may seem. By living a life rooted in devotion, truth, service, community, acceptance, and contentment, we aspire to cultivate a deep sense of peace that radiates outward, touching not only our personal lives, but the greater whole. And in this way, contentment becomes a transformative force, guiding us toward a life of harmony with ourselves and with the world around us. It's a reminder that peace isn't a distant goal, but a present reality, accessible to all who choose to see and embrace it. And so, beloved, I conclude with a reflection on the nature of peace as an inherent aspect of our being, rather than a distant goal to be pursued. Peace isn't something we attain through external achievements or rigid control over our lives, but something that arises naturally when we align ourselves with the flow of existence. In embracing Hukum, the divine will, and cultivating santokh, contentment, we find that peace is already within us, waiting to be realized. True peace comes from a deep understanding and acceptance of the present moment. It's about letting go of the incessant striving and recognizing the perfection in the here and now. By living in harmony with the natural order, appreciating the interconnectedness of all things, and practicing gratitude for what we have, we dissolve the barriers that create inner turmoil. Peace, then, isn't a static state, but a dynamic process of engagement with life, characterized by a serene acceptance and a compassionate presence. In this light, beloved, peace is the ultimate realization of our interconnectedness with the universe. It's the profound stillness that emerges when we stop resisting the flow of life and start moving with it. By embracing the principles of devotion, truth, service, community, acceptance, and contentment, we not only find peace within ourselves, but also contribute to a more harmonious world. You see, this journey isn't about attaining something new, but about awakening to the reality that peace is already here, within and around us, in every moment we truly see and accept. And I will leave you with a final thought, beloved. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Lord Buddha. Please forgive my many mistakes. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।